Today on Open Minds UFO Report, a CIA panel answers questions about UFOs at Area 51. Scientists research whether extraterrestrials are responsible for a Kepler mystery, and a Coney Island witness photographs a disc UFO. Your Open Minds UFO Report starts now. Hello and welcome to the Open Minds UFO Report. My name is Alejandro Rojas. At a recent special event held by the National Atomic Testing Museum in Las Vegas, Nevada, a panel of former and current CIA employees answered questions about Area 51, and the discussion included talk about UFOs. However, their answers left some, including local media, doubting. The National Atomic Testing Museum is home to an Area 51 exhibit called Area 51, Myth or Reality. It was opened in March 2012, back when Area 51 was still officially a secret. The exhibit includes information about UFOs. The museum plans on closing the exhibit at the end of the year, so they have been hosting Area 51 and UFO talks over the last few weeks as a special send-off. On October 9th, the museum hosted a panel of former and current CIA employees and a civilian Area 51 historian. The CIA panelists included Chief Historian of the CIA, Dr. David Robarge, former CIA Senior Scientific Intelligence Officer, S. Eugene Poteet, and re-engineering expert Thornton Barnes. The panel was moderated by KLAS investigative journalist George Knapp, who posted a story on the event on the KLAS website. He said the CIA panelists had their tongues in their cheeks when talking about Nevada's rock star of military bases, Area 51. In the video posted on KLAS of the event, Poteet says, "What happens at the secret base called Area 51 is known by everybody. There's nothing secret." Knapp did not sound convinced. In fact, in the video, Knapp can be heard prompting the group about the fact that secrets can be kept from the public.
Secrets can be kept, right? We hear this. Washington leaks like a sieve. There's no such thing as a secret. Secrets can be kept, can't they?
Robarge jokingly replied, "I can neither confirm nor deny that secrets can be kept." However, Barnes was willing to agree with Knapp and admit that secrets could be kept. He said he could not even tell his wife where he worked when he was at Area 51. Filmmaker Jeremy Corbell, who is working on a documentary about alleged Area 51 whistleblower Bob Lazar, asked the panel if the CIA was still researching UFOs. Robarge said they were not. Robarge also brought up a report written a few years ago in which the CIA claimed that many UFO sightings in the 50s and 60s were caused by spy planes flying out of Area 51. He said the study found a 75% correlation between black projects and UFO sightings. Knapp asked Dr. Bruce Maccabee, a retired optical physicist for the U.S. Navy and author of the book The FBI-CIA UFO Connection, what he thought about that claim. Maccabee exclaimed, "It is preposterously still preposterous." Maccabee, who actually conducted research to verify the claim, says that UFO sightings did not increase when the U-2 began its flights. In fact, UFO sightings were higher in the years before the U-2 or SR-71 were even built. The KLASI team asked Robarge if the CIA encouraged the belief that their spy planes were UFOs. He replied that they would not have been allowed to do that, but he added that they did nothing to discourage such beliefs either. We talked to Corbell to ask him more about his thoughts on the event. Okay, we're here with Jeremy. Thank you so much for joining us again.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, thanks for having me, Alejandro.
You're always making news, it seems like. And this one was really exciting. So I didn't even know this was going to happen until you told me, and I think it was after the fact that, you know, that this panel of CIA guys talking about Area 51, and you were the guy. Were you the only one to bring up UFO questions?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was truly surprising to me. I mean, look, it was October 9th, 2015, the Atomic Testing Museum. For those of you that don't know, that's when the event was. And it was a panel. It was really unprecedented in American history because Area 51 has been such a secret facility, although the CIA would like you to believe that there's nothing secret, move on, don't look here. But it has been, it's the, as George Knapp says, the rock star of, secret locations. So it was pretty amazing to me that they allowed this panel of really high-level intelligence officers, CIA, officers, to participate in a public forum. I guess it wasn't meant to be so public, but I squeezed in a few questions about UFOs. Really, they were there on an information campaign to educate the public on the good work that was done with the spy planes program.
Mm-hmm.
But as we know, there's a lot more about Area 51 that the public has uncovered.
Mm-hmm. Now, most of what we kind of reviewed what George Knapp had written about in the video that he has, but you've released some more, and essentially, he gives them their credit for the great work that they've done, but he calls into question some of their comments, like a comment around how what Area 51 is not secret, which is a really strange comment.
It's a very strange comment because, look, the CIA notoriously has been in the business of secrets. They're supposed to serve the public interest and that of Americans, but historically, they have not been trustworthy. At times, it appears almost acting against the American public. To say that nothing at Area 51 is secret is to whitewash decades and decades of work of what we know about now and a lot of what we don't know about. So that was, as somebody else said, McAfee said, preposterously still preposterous,
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely fundamentally ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. So you asked about UFOs. Now, in George's story, he has you asking, is it about the CIA still researching UFOs? And they said no. But did you ask more?
Yeah, I asked a number of questions. I didn't know that I was going to have an opportunity to directly engage, for example, Mr. Jean Petit, who is, the senior CIA scientific intelligence officer who is working at Area 51. I mean, this is a high-level CIA aeronautics and official who is out there, who knows back and forth Area 51. And I got to ask him questions specifically about UFOs, but I went into it asking about S4 because one of the things that's never been acknowledged, it has never been publicly acknowledged anyway, I'll put it that way, is S4, that there are multiple S4 sites. And as we know, S4 has a lore because that's where a lot of the non-terrestrial programs allegedly are occurring, such as what Bob Lazar talked about. So, very interestingly enough, in 1989, George Knapp went and called the public information officer at Nellis, and he asked, hey, do you have a place called Site 4? I've got a whistleblower here that's telling me about Site 4, and sure enough, they admitted it to him. We called together in 2015. I hope to be able to show some of this footage, and they had a great response. They said, Site 4 is not on any of our maps. So it was a way for them to dodge the question. So publicly, Site 4 on the Nellis Range, which includes Tonopah, Area 52, Area 51, the entire Nellis Range, which is huge. Notoriously, they have never publicly admitted an existence to a Site 4. But we found out about 2 on the night of the event at the Atomic Testing Museum. 2 were acknowledged. But not by the head, not by the senior CIA scientific intelligence officer.
What?
It's by other members of the panel who worked out there.
Oh, okay, because there was a panelist who worked in re-engineering, and then there was a historian.
T.D. Barnes. Yeah, T.D. Barnes is a long-time CIA radar expert that worked out there for a long time. He couldn't even tell his wife what he was doing. So secrets, as George Knapp said, can be kept. They are kept. The other person of great interest to me there was Dr. David Robarge, and he is the CIA's chief historian with access to all CIA content. And, when I directed the specific question to him, is the CIA still studying the UFO phenomenon? He denied it. And, I have issues with that. And I guess the truth always comes out throughout history.
So I guess that's really cool. You were able to get them to acknowledge S4. Like you said, I've never heard that acknowledged before, so that's a big deal. And you videotaped this exchange, and you've got these videos going up on your website.
Yeah, they're up right now, and you can kind of watch for yourself the micro expressions, as I like to watch people and how they move when you ask them certain questions. I was able to film it. Now, this is important. They're not acknowledging an S4 at Papoose Lake like Bob Lazar talked about. That wasn't the aim. They're paid to lie to us. They're mandated to lie to us. We know that as journalists is that we need to, keep the security of our sources. Well, same thing for any intelligence organization. I didn't expect them to tell me, about the S4 at Papoose, if in fact it does exist, which I believe it does. Now, they did recognize 2 other S4 locations, and it was because of T.D. Barnes, who worked out there for so long, that he mentioned that, as well as the other historian that was there. So it was just a fun opportunity to engage the CIA in an open debate when the CIA, oftentimes is so closed by nature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's what's fun about this is that they were so preposterous in statements like there's nothing secret out there, and that they would answer these questions and put forth other silly comments they've made in the past. But it's really exciting to hear the S4 news, and I can't wait to see the videos. And that's at extraordinarybeliefs.com.
Yeah, extraordinarybeliefs.com is where you can find that new piece of footage, and it does take you through step by step. And again, it's important to recognize that, what was said there is just the tip of the iceberg. It's just a way to prod and get more information. I mean, ultimately, it is their job to, keep secrets. And if they say that they were not interested in UFOs beginning to end, I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. And we know that from history. On their own website, they talk about when they engaged the UFO issue. So it was just a really fun opportunity to get some answers. And I think there were some answers had, and you should definitely look at the news report that George Knapp did as well. We take slightly different angles on the situation, and it's pretty amazing to see what came out in this little exchange.
Mm-hmm. So you don't feel the CIA was honest with you the other day on the panel?
Oh, come on. No, look, again, we know, throughout history that there are craft of non-human origin, I guess, that are traversing our airspace with impunity. We know that. The CIA has studied it secretively. The FBI has studied it. The Department of Defense has studied it. And currently it is still being studied. Mm-hmm. And, this is just something that is a cover-up, and it is a lie, and it's been happening for a long time. Now, why they're lying about it, that's up to you to figure out. I don't know. But they are lying. And it's their job to lie.
And now that I've got you, just to put in a plug for the Congress, is that you will have some new films to release at the UFO Congress coming up here in February.
Absolutely. I feel that this is the year that people will find out who Nano Man is and hear more of his story. So I have a number of films that I'll be presenting at the UFO Congress, as well as giving a small presentation in conjunction with my business partner, Ruben Langdon, about the citizen hearing on disclosure and choosing highlights from that, which I feel like we had a little continuation of this other weekend.
Awesome. All right. Super excited about it. Thanks again, man.
Okay, man. Talk to you soon.
The Kepler Space Telescope has spotted a star with peculiar characteristics that have some scientists speculating as to whether the anomalies could be the result of an extraterrestrial civilization. Kepler's mission is to survey stars to determine if they have planets around them, and the telescope has found an abundance of them. More than many thought would be out there. Many of these planets exhibit characteristics that make them candidates for possibly harboring life. One of the ways the telescope is able to determine if a star has a planet is by looking for periodic dimming of the star's light. This typically indicates that there is something passing in front of the star, and if it happens at a regular interval, then it is probably a planet. This is similar to how the Earth may make the light from the sun dim every 365 days from the perspective of an observer far out in space. However, one star in particular, named KIC 8462852, shows a dimming pattern that is unusual and indicates, according to an article in The Atlantic, a big mess of matter circling the star. Kepler looked at over 150,000 stars, and KIC 8462852 is the only one that shows this strange pattern. The strange pattern was discovered by citizen scientists that belong to a group called Planet Hunters. The group was formed to help sift through the massive amount of data obtained by Kepler. In 2011, members of the Planet Hunter group tagged the star as interesting and bizarre. Since then, Tabitha Boyagin, a postdoc at Yale who oversees Planet Hunters, has taken a closer look and recently posted a paper on her findings. Boyagin reviewed a number of different scenarios as to what may be happening to cause a strange dimming pattern, but found all but one to be wanting. This one potentially plausible explanation is the possibility that a different star had passed nearby and dragged along with it a bunch of comets. However, according to The Atlantic, Boyagin admits her recent paper only reviews natural scenarios. She told The Atlantic there were other scenarios she was considering. Jason Wright, an astronomer from Penn State University, is also looking at alternative scenarios, including the extraterrestrial one. He is working on publishing an article on this theory. When Boyagin showed me the data, I was fascinated about how crazy it looked. Wright told The Atlantic, aliens should always be the very last hypothesis you consider, but this looked like something you would expect an alien civilization to build. Researchers have suggested before that unusual dimming patterns of stars may not only detect planets, but possibly advanced extraterrestrial structures. Wright says KIC 8462852's strange light patterns are consistent with a swarm of megastructures. Wright and Boyagin plan on further researching the star to unlock its mysteries and determine whether or not an extraterrestrial civilization exists there. They have teamed up with Andrew Simeon, the director of the SETI Research Center at the University of California, Berkeley, and are working on a proposal to use a radio dish to attempt to listen in on the star. The team will be listening for radio waves that exhibit advanced technology. A New York street photographer driving to Coney Island reported capturing a dish-shaped object while taking rapid-fire images of a bridge, according to a report submitted to the Mutual UFO Network, aka MUFON, Witness Reporting Database. The witness was with 3 friends on their way to pick up another friend on June 16th earlier this year. I always carry my camera with me, the witness stated. At the time I shot with a Fujifilm X-T1 and had it on machine gun mode for rapid shots. We were passing by the bridge as I decided to just rapid fire some shots of the bridge freehand, and I did not have my eyesight in my viewfinder. The witness continued, "What caught my attention was a sudden string flash at the corner of my eye, kind of like lightning but in the distance. At that moment I took my finger off of the shutter and reviewed my photos from the rapid fire when I came across the object." Although the witness states several pictures of the UFO were taken, he only submitted one. He said his computer crashed and the others were lost. After this story and the image were posted on OpenMinds.tv, other media outlets picked up the story, many comparing the light in the picture to the engines of the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars. The witness says the object was only visible for a moment. The object moved at such speed that I only had it in the frame for about maybe a second or two. It also moved from the front of the bridge to out of the frame in that small amount of time. MUFON New York State Section Director Lillian Waters and field investigator John Reinhardt investigated the case, which was reported on September 19th, and closed it as information only. Although not visible to the naked eye, one picture revealed a disc-like object with a dome-shaped top, investigators stated in their report. The object was very large, possibly 300 feet in diameter, and appeared to have bright yellow-orange external lights. That's your Open Minds UFO report for today. You can find these stories and more at OpenMinds.tv. We post fresh UFO news daily. You can also follow us on Twitter at OpenMindsTV, and you can find us on Facebook. Don't forget to register for the International UFO Congress, the Guinness World Record-holding largest UFO convention. Early registration is open, so you can get a discount by registering now at ufocongress.com. Let us know if you enjoyed today's episode by liking the episode on YouTube and leaving us your comments in the section below. You can also download our podcast, Open Minds UFO Radio, on iTunes or at openminds.tv/radio. Thanks again for joining us today for OpenMinds.tv. I'm Alejandro Rojas.